Boy gonna play?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Probably go home this weekend. You know, he had visa issues that we had to work through, and if that doesn't get cleared up, then he won't be able to even go home then.
East Tennessee State's another one of those veteran, experienced mid-major teams that's scary.
Yeah, I wasn't running. I'm just thinking about the game that we're going to play tomorrow. The other thing is they're going to press and be physical. And I've watched the game tape a few times, and they were just as physical as us. We just were so much bigger they couldn't get baskets in, they normally get in. And so the players that gave us fits are playing now. And I know that one player is not playing, or supposedly not playing. But they had 2 or 3 other guys that gave us fits. And we had guys that I don't think Darius could play about 4 minutes in the game. Couldn't stay in front of anybody. And so we don't have a whole lot of choices right now.
What is the biggest challenge with
their veteran team?
So young.
They're a veteran team. They're going to press. You know, how much have we been able to go press attack? You saw the first team that Pikeville pressed us, and we were throwing the ball and couldn't get it in. And so we're working on some stuff, but the reality of it is only game experience are going to help the guys.
You talk a lot about everybody's Super Bowl and everybody getting for you. Does this team maybe bring a little element of, hey, they lost a lot of guys, we can get these guys back from it?
Oh, there's no question. No question. This was a bad first game of the schedule. Well coached, play hard, play aggressive, play loose, throw it up the floor. If you have threes, take them. Play with nothing to lose. The rim's going to be huge, and we're going to have a bunch of young guys out there trying to hold the fort down. I can remember last year we played Morehead State, and if Eric Bledsoe didn't go for 24, that was going to be a 2-point game. And we played Miami of Ohio, which was a veteran team, and we should have lost that game. And so, now we're not as imposing inside as we were, and hard game. But we got to play and got to learn. I would just tell everybody, be patient. I'm going to be as patient as I can be. It may not look that way on the sideline, but I'm going to be patient because this is going to be a process with this team. And we all have to be patient. I like the team. I like our team. It's just that we have so many things to get to. The toughness and the rebounding are the one. The execution is the other. The pace of the game, and figuring out when to pull it out, when to keep going. The shot selection, that is so important. Freshmen are just playing like it's a pickup game. Well, shot selection in a game like this is important because they get it out and go. So there's a lot of things.
Do you expect to see some maybe wide eyes from the freshmen because the level gets raised, another
7 notches? I would say we'll see. We're going to learn. The reason you play teams like this is that you can get a chance to say, okay, who's who? Guy does well in practice, does well in exhibition, and shoots in this game and shoots air balls. Or a guy that's been struggling goes in this game and really plays well. You're looking for leadership, and all of a sudden the guys you thought were going to give it aren't able to give it, and it's coming from other people. And you start learning about your team. You cannot learn about your team, I've said this before, popcorn state. You cannot learn. You've got to learn against NCAA tournament level teams like this. These teams pick to win their league. They've got almost everybody back from the team. So when they started practicing, they were building on what they did a year ago. We were starting all new. It's the same thing. They're 3/4 of the way up the mountain. We're still at the bottom. And so what you hope is you get a home crowd advantage. You hope that you make some shots, and you hope you hit the half-court shot at the buzzer and run off the court with a W. Just get off and run from the game.
John, how important is Brandon in terms of the pace and execution and all that?
Important, but I'm not going to throw this all on his shoulders because he's still learning too. And I'm trying to talk him through it. I'm trying to give him ideas. He's really intelligent. Really, what he is a receptive learner. And so whatever you give him, he's listening to. But obviously, he will run our club, and he's a freshman. And he's also got to score balls because we need him to make baskets because we got to score to win too.
Sorry, Cal. I did the obvious. You probably know the answer, but is there any hope that you'll know something about Cantor soon?
There's a chance, but he won't be playing Friday.
Talk about Brandon Knight. How are the rest of the freshmen responding to your coaching right now?
They've been good. They're all receptive. It's just they've never gone at this pace. They've never gone with this intensity. They've never gone with this kind of physical play. But they're going to see it Friday. They're going to understand when a team you got two teams, and if both teams are fighting to win, and both teams are really playing, you know, if their talent's equal, usually it comes right down to the wire. If one team is more talented but they'll fight, they usually can get out with a win. But if one team doesn't fight, I don't care who's more talented or less talented, the team with the fight wins. And I'm just not sure, you know, the issue with fight with this may mean foul. I can't stop this guy, so I'm just going to foul. Well, we can't do that. We don't have enough guys. Can't get into foul trouble. Why? Because I didn't stay in a stance and he beat me to a spot, or I had to go get the ball. No, he beat you to a spot. You stopped playing, so you just grab it. This isn't football. That wasn't going to be a touchdown. Yes, you made a mistake, but those are all the freshmen, and they just don't get that.
Are they getting the viciousness yet you talked about?
You talked about you had to figure out who these guys are, who this team is. Any closer to that?
No, you got to do it in games. There's demonstrated performance. That's how you build confidence. That's how you build confidence from your teammates and your coaches. You got to go in games and go do it and perform. And so, you know, instead of talking, go perform. I'd rather see it than hear it. Go do it. And if you deserve to play, you'll show everybody, and they'll say he deserves to play. If you're saying I deserve to play, and they see you and they say he shouldn't play at all, that it shows on the court, and it shows, especially in a game like this where you're not. It's not like, okay, let's get down 12-2 and it'll be fine. No. Start of the game better be a little different than we've been starting. But again, you know, we've tried to work on that a little bit, but we're still a lot of things to learn. I mean, we are what we are at this point. I don't expect them to be playing like it's December and January. It's the beginning of November, and they look like it.
With the concerns you have about the young guys you talked about, how much do you lean on like Darius and DeAndre to kind of set the tone?
Well, you want them to play consistent. You want them, if they're struggling at all with the enormity of the game or the fan, you know, and we got real problems. You're hoping that those guys are steady, they come and they settle the team, but they've got to fight like heck. I mean, you can't say much when you're getting beat to every ball and you're getting beat on the dribble, or you can't get a ball, you can't rebound a ball, and then go say something to a teammate. They don't want to hear that. So you got to be consistent in that effort, and they're trying. So, but this is all we're going to find out. I mean, if anybody thinks they know about my team, I like to know who that is, because I still don't.
I wanted to say about where this program is at, to be able to sign another class like you did yesterday. I mean, guys who obviously want to play together are all rated that high. Maybe what to say about them as well.
Well, first of all, to have a group that wants to play together, that understands they're going to have to sacrifice some of their game for each other, and that want to compete for national titles and win national titles, and aren't afraid to say it, is pretty special. The other part of that is, this all started, when did our ability to do this start?
5 players.
In the green room. When I sat in that green room, and the statements I made in that green room, that's when this all started. And so now it's, let's keep developing players. Let's be a players first program. Obviously, we all have goals that we want for this program and where we want to be and what we want to be thought of. And but at the end of the day, this is a players first program. We've got to be about that. And so now the good news for me is I can be about this team in that gym right now. I don't have a whole lot of worries. We may sign another player or two depending on how this plays out. And none of us know. You know, we sat here in November last year and said, we got 5 first-round draft picks. You'd all laughed. You'd all walked out and laughed. You'd have said maybe 2. It should be 2. But I don't even know if there's a 3rd. Now we got 5 there and a couple playing in the D-League. So, I mean, they came together, they sacrificed, and now this team's got to learn it. You know, the biggest thing this team doesn't understand yet, it's not about me, it's about us. And if we all do well as a team, I'm going to do well. I'm going to look good. But that's hard. When you're talking to a young guy that's concerned about himself, it's hard to get that going.
In the recruiting process,